Seneca said, I am not born for one corner. The whole world is my native land. The Junior Leagues of New York State present Guilders, Pounds, and Dollars, the story of New York and world trade. Wherever we find people, we are sure to find trade. The more people, the more trade. The farther away people settle, the longer must the trade lines be, until finally, as it does today, trading covers the entire earth. We should like to tell you something about New York State and its role in world trade. Your immediate reaction may be, well, this certainly sounds dull. And we agree with you. The mere mention of the word trade brings to mind long strings of numbers with dollar signs in front of them, huge lists of figures proving something, but what? And a very big wish that we could be anywhere else but here. So I'll tell you what. Let's open the window, tear up all the numbers and figures, close the window, and find out about the people involved in this biggest of all big business, world trade. One of these people was Henry Hudson, captain of the Dutch ship Half Moon.
A fine day, Jewett. I wonder if we'll find it today.
It?
The secret passage, the shortcut to India.
4 long months now we've sailed down the coast of this western continent. Nothing. Our Dutch masters must want a new route to India pretty desperately.
Can you blame them? If the Dutch East India Company can find a shortcut, their business will triple overnight. It's a long, long way down around Africa and Cape Horn.
4 bells.
And all's well.
Is it, Captain? Let's turn the ship around and head back for Holland.
This may be it, Jewett. Hand me the glass. Aye, it's a cove, all right. I'd say it's more like a bay. A beautiful bay. Here, see for yourself. Helmsman! 90 degrees starboard! Make for the cove!
September 16th, 1609. For 13 days we've sailed up this wide and beautiful river, stopping now and then to trade with the savages. Some of them are quite friendly, some are not. These savages have many and beautiful furs, the like of which I think would bring great price on the European market. September 19th, 1609. The crew of the Half Moon, as well as myself, were astounded by the beauty of this place. The river is many miles wide at some spots and is composed of salt water. Surely it is not a river, but the channel for which we have been searching, a route to the Indies. The beautiful channel has turned out to be another river. If we go any further, there's great danger we'll run aground. Besides, the men have begun.
Jewett! Give the order to sail back down the river.
Aye, aye, sir. And what then? Continue down the coast, still searching?
No. When we reach the bay, we'll head for the open sea in Holland. I'll write out a complete report. I must tell the Dutch East India Company that we've failed.
Oh, Captain Hudson, you have not failed. In fact, you have rendered us great service. You know now that furs of the finest quality are to be found in the New World, and that we have a new source of wealth nearly equal to our spice and silk trade with the Indies. We have formed a company, the Dutch West India Company, to trade with the New World. There will be many ships sailing to this new land, but you, Henry Hudson, and your gallant Half Moon were the first. So New Netherland was open for trade. Dutch enterprises were set up near the cove where Henry Hudson first landed. A town grew. It was called New Amsterdam and was the center of the fur industry. Today, New Amsterdam is called New York, a different name, a British name.
Your Majesty, the Dutch settlement of New Amsterdam threatens to ruin British trade in the West. With Your Majesty's permission, I shall explain some of the problems we face. First, the rivers of New Netherland, the most important waterways to the west, are in Dutch hands. Secondly, the Dutch colony in New Amsterdam separates us from our colonies in New England and from our colonies in Pennsylvania, Virginia, and the Carolinas. Thirdly, ships find it convenient to stop at New Amsterdam and trade with the Dutch. Fourth, we are already at war with the Netherlands. I need go no further, sire. We must have New Amsterdam.
4 British men of war were dispatched from Boston and ordered to take New Amsterdam. The Dutch settlement guarded against Indian attacks, but helpless before a naval force, lacking troops to fight a land army, realized that they had only one choice.
Lower your guns, Englishmen. New Amsterdam is yours.
So New Amsterdam, now New York, became part of the British colonial empire. Let's jump across the years to 1750 to see how trade was carried out in the New York colony. Trade with England was carved out under very strict laws. Materials such as iron, furs, and lumber were sent to England to be made into finished products. England, like other European countries, did not allow manufacturing to grow up in her colonies. Colonies were founded for the purpose of producing materials which the mother country did not have, and from which things could be made and then sold to whoever could buy them. It was fine for England, but hard on the colonies. Not so much at first, when the colonies were small, but as they grew. Yes, as they grew, the people naturally would find it easier to make these things in the colonies. It would have saved all the time it took shipping the stuff back and forth. And if they got pretty good at making things, I should think they might have wanted to sell what they couldn't use to other colonies. But they couldn't. Britain put a high tax on such goods.
These new taxes the British have placed upon us are insane. It'll ruin me.
You aren't the only one. If need be, I'll smuggle. It's not the taxes themselves I mind so much, but since we've got to pay them, we should at least have been asked. Taxation without representation is tyranny.
Yes, one of the main causes of the revolution was the high taxes imposed on traders by the British. And so the Revolutionary War was fought and won. The colonies, now an independent nation, calling themselves the United States of America. In New York, with its fine harbors and rivers, New Yorkers rapidly built up trade with all the world. The docks of New York City, busy places in the year 1800.
You want to be a sailor, lad, and you from Utica.
I do, Captain. This is the first time I've seen the sea.
Ah, there's more to the sea than looking, matey. Can you not smell the salt and hear the seagulls? A wonderful life on the sea.
I've never seen so many people in all my life. There must be thousands on the docks alone.
Aye, matey. Some are merchants. They own the ships and use them for trade. Some build the ships, and there's a proud man who's packing his sail down the Cape to China and back. Some, like me, sail the ships. Oh, look at them, lad. Black Lascars, Indian, and English and French. Sooner or later, they all come here to New York Harbor. Men of the sea from everywhere.
Captain, I've heard stories about the pirates.
Yes, have you, lad? Now, what have they told you?
What's that?
That? Oh, 'tis a harbor bell, mate. A ship's coming through the Narrows.
A ship? Which one? Can you tell me, Captain?
Aye, lad, you get to know a ship like you know a person. Hey, look through the glass. See the figurehead on the prow? There's but one packet with a statue like that. The Empress of China. She'll be bringing tea and spices from the east. Oh, a great ship she is, and proud I am to have sailed on her.
You sailed on the Empress of China?
Aye, lad. Many the time we left New York Harbor with a load of iron furs and the finest woolen garments I ever laid eyes on. We set sail on the first voyage in February of '84 and didn't see America for 16 months.
More than a year at sea?
Aye, more than a year. We weathered monsoons, the water run out. There was a time when the pirates near sent us to Davy Jones. More than half the men took sick with the blasted scurvy. But old Captain John Green, I was his third mate at the time, old Captain Green saw us back safe into port with enough tea on board to make the whole Atlantic one big cup of tea. And now the Empress of China's coming back again. Oh, wish I could be on her when she sails.
You think I could go, Captain?
As cabin boy? Maybe. They might need one at that. Why don't we both go down and see for ourselves? I'd like to sail the Empress of China again. I sure would.
This was the activity in New York Harbor at the turn of the 19th century. But what about the rest of the Empire State? How were the settlers of this new nation helping the growth of New York? Since rivers were the only means of travel, communication, and trade, the early settlers of New York State built their towns and villages near the waterways, natural highways over which trade could be carried on to at least a certain degree. And if you look on your map, you will find that practically every large city in New York State is situated on the bank of a river. Here's how trade developed slowly over a period of years.
Between two men in the same town?
Between one man in one town.
And one man in another town.
Between one man in one town.
And many men in many towns. Between many men in many towns.
And men throughout the state.
Little by little, as roads were built, as transportation improved, so did trade increase. But the greatest single factor in the development of New York State's business was the Erie Canal. Why was the canal built? The answer was obvious.
Nobody likes to live in a town without a main street.
The Erie Canal really put all of New York State on the world's main street. It raised New York to its great place in industry and trade, where it has remained ever since. How? Listen.
Why, I can ship 10 times the number of goods now at a fraction of the price I used to have to pay.
I don't have to worry about swamps, storms, mud, and marshes.
I live and work in Buffalo, and your Erie Canal gives me a way to get my goods to ships sailing from Albany and New York City.
From all over, trade poured into New York State. Merchants eager to dispose of their produce seized upon New York as the ideal market. The fame of the canal spread to Europe and made possible a quicker route to what was then the western United States. What else did the Erie Canal do? It made New York Harbor a port for ships from all corners of the globe. And now, via the magic of radio, let's join our special correspondent in New York Harbor in the year 1950.
Good afternoon. This is your special correspondent speaking to you from atop the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor. The sky is brilliantly blue, and far beneath me I can see the twinkling waters of the bay. The most amazing sight of all, ladies and gentlemen, though, are the hundreds of ships coming and going day and night. Ships from every land imaginable. From my vantage point, I can see a Norwegian freighter entering the harbor, and let me see, yes, it's a Panamanian tanker passing the Norwegian ship on its way out. Well, they just saluted each other with their whistles. But Queen Mary docked here just a few hours ago, a true giant of a ship being nosed along by an army of tugs. There are more barges than I can count, some bearing tons of coal, some carrying oil. The day is so clear that we can see halfway up Manhattan Island. The lower part of the island is one mass of docks, and each dock practically contains a ship. When you realize that these ships come from China, Holland, France, Sweden, Africa, and other points on the earth, you first begin to understand the tremendous job New York Harbor is doing in the world of trade. This is your special correspondent returning you now to our studio.
New York Harbor is one of the many ways in which the state of New York has made its mark on world trade. The Erie Canal is another, LaGuardia and Idlewild Airport still others. But the greatest round of applause should go to the people of New York State, who with courage and determination gained New York its place in the sun, and through the years have kept it there. The story of New York State and its part in world trade is far from over. Each day, some new development in commerce turns the spotlight on the Empire State. As long as you want, it shall continue to be so. For in you lies the power to give New York even greater cause to be called the Empire State. You
have been listening to Guilders, Pounds, and Dollars, the story of New York and world trade. This program was presented by the Junior Leagues of New York State in cooperation with the State Department of Education and was produced in the studios of WPTR, Albany, New York.